Joining us now to take all of this up, former senior State Department advisor, cybersecurity expert, Morgan Wright. I don't recall a single time previous to this in which the U.S. government has said this is a grave, grave attack on the United States, and they make it clear at the Department of Homeland Security that they have no capacity to stop it. Your thoughts?
Yeah, Lou, anytime you call a meeting on Saturday of the National Security Council, it's serious. I mean, this is almost like a prelude to war. So what you were just saying earlier and what you reported on, not only were the government agencies hit, we've got Lockheed Martin, we've got companies like FireEye, very good, solid cybersecurity companies being targeted by this malware. So this is, I think a lot of this. Now, they were in the system for 9 months, Lou, but it took several months of preparation. This very well could have started after the 2018 election, after they were kind of silent during that time. This is Russia's way of getting back in the game. They knew we were going to be looking at them for the election. So what did they do? They took a different tack, and instead they attacked the one system, the one company that had over 300,000 clients, many of those government clients and very significant private sector clients.
You're talking about SolarWinds?
Yeah, SolarWinds, they have over 300,000 customers worldwide. They said, well, only a small portion, 18,000, were affected. Lou, 18,000, my goodness. We're talking 18,000 companies, many of those, like you were just talking about, nuclear agencies, the FERC. We've got the Treasury. We've got, many other government agencies. We've got private sector companies that do defense work, Lockheed Martin. This is not just something you say, it's just a minor thing. They exploited the trust mechanism that every company relied upon to deliver, like you said, these updates to patch the vulnerabilities. Instead, they were introducing new hidden vulnerabilities. They said, well, the updates are secure. Well, the updates weren't secure. They were securely delivered, but they contained a malicious payload that allowed them to exploit. We don't, at this point, Lou, we don't know how many. It could be hundreds. It could be thousands of companies.
Those companies, all of them part of the military-industrial complex, all of them in the federal system with access to, as we've already been told, the nuclear stockpile, which means in this instance also very likely it means that our national laboratories have also been compromised. The fact that it's ongoing and that everyone is acknowledging, at least those who are speaking, that there is no fix here, quote unquote, and that right now foreign actors are in control of the U.S. networks and systems, the U.S. federal networks and systems. There's no other way to read this, is there?
No, CISA already told Department of Energy, look, you're on your own. We don't have any bandwidth to be able to support you. This is beyond an all hands on deck. We don't even have the number of people it takes to respond to this. And Lou, I will tell you, looking at this has a lot of hallmarks, the trademarks of what Russia did to Ukraine December 23rd, 2015, when they launched the black energy malware. They took out 700,000 homes. They were practicing this in other areas. This is their kind of tradecraft. But there's another thing. The military calls it IPB, intelligence preparation of the battlefield. Russia, by getting into the FERC, by getting into the nuclear agencies, by getting into our government, and you said the military-industrial complex, they are assessing our capabilities, our strengths. They're looking at where's the U.S. going, what can they really do. And the FERC, the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, they don't regulate the energy transfers, but they know where all the soft spots are. They know where all the vulnerabilities are. Russia now has got the entire playbook, if they want to, for example, how to take down the U.S. energy grid.
And there was a change of doctrine in the Obama administration, I believe it was 2015, in which we declared as a nation that a cyber attack, and described certainly would be a perfect fit with this situation, that it would be considered an act of war. What in hell is the U.S. government doing waiting to respond?
I hate to say it this way, but, even though we have all a good idea, 2 days after 9/11, 24 hours after 9/11, we knew it was al-Qaeda. We can assign attribution. They're being very careful, I think, at this point, but you've got to be more transparent. What's going on? Who's affected? What's affected? What kind of steps should everybody be taking? But then to stop folks like China, to stop folks like Russia and Iran, you just can't pussyfoot around. You've got to hit back. They've got to unleash U.S. Cyber Command even more, let General Nakasone take his cyber troops and go on the offensive and start teaching some of these folks there is a price to pay if you attack the United States.
or there is alternatively the other possibility that we simply lack that capacity and would have to respond in the physical world, not the virtual, to this attack and make the punishment. I don't know how you would make it other than an absolute destructive force in any way symmetrical to this assault on our systems. This is a cyber attack of nightmare proportions and apparently dimensions and longevity. Your thoughts as we wrap up here, Morgan?
Yeah, the Russians are contesting this. Before, when you would find a bad actor in your system, they, okay, you caught us, we're out of here. This time, they are contesting the ability to remove them. That's why this insertion into the updates for SolarWinds, it is so hard. You cannot simply rip and replace all this software. It's either shut it off or cut it off, and neither one of those is a good alternative.
I also want to put a point on one thing, too, as we wrap up here, Morgan, and I appreciate your time. We just heard from the former head of CISA that this was the most secure election in our country's history. This is the very same intelligence organization in cyber who had no idea that there had been a year-long, it looks like at least a year-long attack that is still ongoing. And we're listening to him say this was a secure election. Are you kidding me? If this is the situation we're in right now with the entire federal government, what in the world are we to think of the evaluation of this former head of CISA on a secure elections? I mean, that would be a light effort compared to what they're doing right now. Am I wrong?
It's been reported that Dominion Voting Systems also was a client of SolarWinds. So you start looking at where did the Russians go? What could they have done? You say that it's the most secure election because it's based on what you know then. What they did not know is, to your point, we had this campaign going on for at least 9 months, if not longer, penetrating some of the most sensitive areas of our government. They snuck in right underneath our nose, and it's like finding a burglar in your home that has been living in your house for 9 months. I mean, this is beyond just tragic, and we don't even know the extent of the damage. It will take weeks, months, maybe up over a year before we truly realize how bad the damage is from this attack.
Well, this is an intelligence of the Cyber Command. It is an intelligence failure of massive proportions. The potentiality of damage and destruction to this country is at this point inestimable. We hope it can be limited quickly. We suspect not. Morgan Wright, as always, your expertise is much appreciated. Thank you for bringing perspective.